Welcome to another episode of the Your Company Health podcast. My name is Andre Wright, and I'm so glad that you can join us today. Today's episode is sponsored by my new book, Visibility. You can get it on Amazon or my website, andrewright.com. Today, we are thrilled to have our special guest, Dr. Peter Morgan. And Dr. Peter Morgan is super experienced in the chiropractic field. He has been around for a very long time, and we are excited for him to talk to us today. Welcome, Doctor, and how are you?
I'm doing great, man, and so excited to speak with you. I just had a busy day at the office, so I just arrived home a little while ago, took my dog for a walk through the woods, and here I am speaking with you, and I'm so happy to speak with you.
Fantastic, sir. All right, so we want to dive right in. I want us to tell us your chiropractic story.
Well, got a long chiropractic story because I've been practicing for a lot of years, since the early 80s. And I opened up a practice right after I graduated school and opened up in my community and started seeing people. And then over time, I was taking care of a lot of people who were in motor vehicle accidents and work accidents and sports injuries. And I kind of got lost in the practice, and I didn't really have my mission and my purpose all set. Yeah, it was great. It was great being a healer. It's great taking care of people, but there was like something missing was in my life. And then God showed me the way, and everything since then. I found my purpose and my mission. I can explain that to you in a few minutes. Yeah.
Great. And where are you located now? Where are you presently? Where are you?
I practice in New York City. I practice in northern Manhattan by the George Washington Bridge. It's an area that's pretty much like a different country. That's one thing that's great about New York is New York has many different worlds in the city. So I'm in an area that's the second capital of the Dominican Republic. And it's on 180th Street in northern Manhattan. Last night I went to see the Big East tournament at the Madison Square Garden, and that only took me a 15-minute drive. So yeah, I'm in Manhattan. I'm in big time Manhattan.
Nice. I love New York. I love New York.
It's a good place. It's a good place.
All right, so tell us, why chiropractic?
Well, I got into chiropractic because I was searching it. This is kind of a strange story too, and it could take a long time, but I was searching for chiropractic and I didn't know that it had existed, because I'll tell you what happened to me. I went to a rock and roll concert in 1969 called Woodstock. A lot of people have heard of it. It was a 3-day rock and roll political movement. There was several movements going on in New York in 1969. One was the protesting of the Vietnam War. Another one was a civil rights movement, all happening, in New York, because Harlem was their center for civil rights movement. And, everything happens in California and New York. So I went to this concert, and when I got there 2 days early. And I was 16 years old, and I was driven to the medical tents. At that time, there was a lot of people doing the hallucinogenic drugs, LSD and mescaline and things like that. So I asked the medical doctors how I could help, because they had set up these tents for all these people that were having bad acid trips. And they said, all you have to do is, sit with people, hug them, tell them everything is going to be all right. You're on a bad acid trip, and it's going to be done in a few hours. So I did that for 5 days at this Woodstock concert, and I wanted to have a job like something like that. But I thought it was going to be medicine. So I went to Italy. I went to medical school 10 years later. I still was in high school at that time. But then 10 years later, I was in medical school in Italy. And then I got into a motorcycle accident, and I went to a doctor's office because my back was so bad. And the first thing the doctor did was hug me and tell me everything is going to be all right. And that's what I was looking for. And so that's how I got into chiropractic. So it's kind of a long story, but that's how I got into chiropractic.
That's a fantastic story. So I want you to tell us, what do you enjoy most about being a chiropractor?
Well, so what happened was over the years, I started taking care. I opened up practice right after school. I started taking care of a lot of people and everything. But what was missing with me was my own purpose, my own mission. I didn't have a calling from God. I'm a very Christian-like person, and I'm always trying to listen to God with my mission. And just coincidentally, I found one of the things, if you want to be a very busy person in chiropractic, and it's the same in no matter what industry you're in. If you want to be busy in a certain area, that's where you want to make your life part of. So I joined the political organization in New York. I joined the International Chiropractic Organization. I got involved in those organizations. In the beginning, when I opened my practice, I was only a member, but shortly thereafter, I became an officer. And all the way where I became the executive officer, the treasurer, the vice president, and eventually the president of my own state organization here in New York. And just coincidentally, in 2001, while I was doing my service as these officers in the organization, our twin towers got attacked, and so we were able to mobilize chiropractors from all over the country, came to New York City at Ground Zero to adjust firemen, policemen, people who were looking for lost ones, maybe some picture or some memorandum or something. People were there for all different reasons, but we were there for 9 months, and I became like an administrator. We got to work with the Red Cross, and if you were a chiropractor and you wanted to serve at Ground Zero to get through the police barricades, you needed to end up eventually seeing me, and we would get a laminated card that said New York Chiropractic Council and Red Cross, and you could go through and work at 5 different respite centers that we had in the New York Ground Zero area for 9 months. So that's how I got involved, and that was really my first chiropractic mission trip. I had gone on mission trips with my church before, but I had never been on a chiropractic mission trip. And this was my first, and it was in my own city, in my own hometown. So it's kind of interesting and sad at the same time.
Fantastic. And that's a good segue in terms of missions. And I see the beautiful picture behind you. I want you to tell us about your mission trips and how you got into it, and where do you go for these trips?
Okay, so shortly after that happened at Ground Zero, I went with a friend and my wife and his wife, and we went to a really nice resort in the Dominican Republic. It had a golf course, it had beachfront, it was really pretty. And but we brought our chiropractic tables along, because when we go on vacation, some of us chiropractors, we bring our tables and we'll adjust like the hotel workers and people, maybe people in the kitchen. We just take our tables and give it service. We like to give our service. So I was adjusting someone at one of the hotel workers, and she told me that her mom was really not feeling well, was really sick. And could I do the same thing that I did for her, where I put my hands on her spine? And it gave her an adjustment. And I said, certainly. So she said, my mom lives less than a mile from here. So she didn't have a car or anything. So we took a taxi, me and my friend. And when we got to her little village, I thought we were going to do a house call, but the village was so poor. And we were staying in this magnificent, beautiful hotel. And this village was so poor that there was not even a place to put my table inside her dwelling. It was just a shack with a tin roof. And when I put my table down to adjust her mom, all of a sudden, all these people were coming out from the village, just looking and seeing what we were doing, me and my buddy. And I just turned around and I said, and they were asking, can you do that for us? And I said, well, this has to be a mission trip. And because we were putting our hands on people, and these people, all the people wanted to have some of what we were providing. And so that's how I started in the Dominican Republic. So what happened is I went back to a seminar that I'm a speaker at, and I made some flyers in 2002 to come on a mission trip, and 7 people came. And then I came back and I went to the same seminar, and I had now testimonials, and then 14 people came. And all the way up from 2002 to 2008, I started doing mission trips in different countries. I did them in Trinidad, Tobago, all in the Caribbean, the Bahamas, Cuba, and all the way to 2008. And in 2008, I had 106 people come on my mission trip. MTV came, and the World Record Book. And we set 4 world records on that trip, where we had healings for 75,000 people in 8 days. And so it was like, it was our mission trip was really wonderful. We were going to all these places, but then in 2010, I happened to be doing a mission trip in Haiti in January of 2010, and our mission trip ended on 2000 it ended on January 10th, 2010, and January 11th we all went home. And less than 24 hours after we left, and we had our translators and everything, the second worst earthquake in man's history in terms of people dying happened. And that's when God directly spoke to me and said, "You have to go back there and save people." And so I got back there in 3 days. I had a team of people get there in 6 days. A patient of mine, this is a crazy story. A patient of mine was a taxi cab driver in New York City. His name was Boss Marcel. And he always used to come to my office and he always used to tell me he was famous in Haiti. But I never believed him because he always had these scrubby clothes. He smelled. He's always was coming in because he was in another accident, with his car, and he had these lawyers. So I just didn't believe him. But when the earthquake happened, I called him up. I said, "Are you really famous in Haiti? And did you have any property there?" And sure enough, he had a big piece of property, and he said he was famous. I still wasn't sure because he told me he didn't have the money and he wanted to go see his relatives and his land, but I had to pay for his ticket to go down there. So I did it. I took a chance. I paid for his ticket. We flew together. And when we got to the airports in Haiti were destroyed, so we had to fly into the Dominican Republic and drive. And when we got to the border, sure enough, this guy was famous. All the people knew him. He was a comedian, and he was famous. He had a piece of property. And on that plane, on the way down there, I still have this on my YouTube channel. I interviewed everyone on the plane, and I said, "What is your mission?" And some people were saying, "We're going to do surgeries, or we're going to do amputations, or we're opening a hospital." And one of the people I interviewed was the president of the Lions Club. And he says, "We're going down with 2,000 tents to help people who lost their homes." And he ended up giving us 50 tents. We put them on my patient's property, and we took in over 1,000 children in January of 2010. And over the 2 years later, every child was placed with a Haitian person who lost their own child. And I've been running an orphanage ever since 2010. I had no experience in running or starting an orphanage. It just, God said, "This is what you're doing now." And so we ended up over these years, we've ended up building 5 buildings, and we have a beautiful building where our children live. In the places where we are, there's no electricity, and there's no, people don't have bathrooms. They don't have running water. They have outhouses. 5 people in shacks will share an outhouse. 5 families will share an outhouse. Even they don't even have an outhouse to themselves. I mean, it's severest poverty. Haiti has been really suffering. But here's the thing: the people are the most wonderful people you could ever meet. All of the people I ever met in Haiti are wonderful. I know a lot of terrible things have happened there, between earthquakes, the president being assassinated this year, 15 Christian missionaries were kidnapped, but we only seen really good people. So I don't even know how that happens down there, because we're never in any of that company for whatever reason, thank God. But we just see wonderful people. And so then, as we're doing all this work, I keep doing mission trips. I've done 106 mission trips, probably about 75 of them to Haiti, because before the earthquake, I used to go in different places. But since the earthquake, I really only go to Haiti and the Dominican Republic, because actually we stay in a hotel, which is very unusual too. The hotel we stay in is in both countries. It has an entrance from Haiti, it has an entrance from the Dominican Republic, and depending upon where your passport is stamped, you can exit either country. If your passport is stamped the right way, you can exit into Haiti. So me and you could be having lunch together. You could be in Haiti and I could be in the Dominican Republic, because my passport is stamped properly for Dominican Republic. Your passport is stamped properly for Haiti. But our orphanage and then this year we opened the birthing center, because in the area of Haiti that we're in, 1 in 80 women die in childbirth, because again, with no running water, with no bathrooms, no electricity, they're suffering. So we opened up these buildings. We got a nice building with bedrooms in it, and we got solar energy. And so we have electricity because we have solar powering. And And so we have a nice place for these women, totally free from donations, to come in and have their babies. They can get, they can see the doctor, and we have 4 midwives. They can come in, their first signs of pregnancy, if they're 2-3 months pregnant, come in. We have vitamins. We give a service, chiropractic as well. And then they'll have the babies there, and they'll have post follow-up visits. And when they come, we feed them too. So it's wonderful work that we're doing. It's pretty interesting. It's very interesting work.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just here in awe, because that's just fantastic work. And as I mentioned to you, we were talking earlier that it's a good thing to see someone so passionate about giving back to the community. And even me as a prospective patient, I would want to go to a chiropractor who I know is philanthropic and wants to give and build his community, and that's some good work that you guys are doing.
And here's the thing: before I started doing these missions, you always, every business sometimes has a little stress to it, because you want to have new clients. If you don't have new clients, your business can have troubles. And so, in the years before I started doing mission work, it was really interesting. I worked really hard to create a practice. I would advertise, I would do talks everywhere, where every chance you get to advertise your business, like any other business person.
Yeah, of course.
Once I started tapping into the laws of give and receive, which the 7 spiritual laws of success. And one of them is the law of give and receive. Once I started giving, because I already received everything. I grew up in New York. After I saw this poverty there, I mean, oh my God, it blew me away. And I realized that I've already been given everything. And once I tapped into that, it's my practice is like I was just telling you, just today, I just left. I worked from 9 to 1, and so many people. And I don't advertise anymore. I don't do any of these things to build your practice. And I'm busier than ever was. I mean, almost have like a waiting list practice. And it's all because the word gets out of you. It's the law of give and receive. If you're giving, people, you're going to get receiving. And it's a wonderful law. It's a wonderful thing to tap into.
It is. And I totally believe in that. There's this thing by a BNI group. Their mantra is "Givers gain," right? Because the more you give, the more you receive. And I totally believe in that. And I can see why you're flourishing and your practice is flourishing, because you're out there doing a great cause. So I want to ask you this: so how many doctors are on your team now?
Okay, so each trip is different. So, okay. For example, for the chiropractic mission trips, I bring a lot of chiropractic students. Those are the people that are really attracted to it because they want to learn and they want to get a good clinical experience, and I can provide them that. Mm-hmm. So, for example, on this next trip that's taking place, I don't even know how many days it is from now, but it's March 25th. So that's only 52 weeks. 2 weeks from today, I'm going to be on my 106th mission trip. And we have a team of over 40 people right now, all mostly doctors and students, mostly students. I would say about 7 or 8 docs, the rest students and some lay people. Some people bring their family members. And that's my chiropractic mission trip. Sometimes I lead a trip for a church, for example. I'll do a Christian mission trip. Sometimes I take high school students. Before COVID, I was hooked up with a number of high schools, students from Europe. Even I had students from Russia, and China, believe it or not, come on the trip. So I've had a variety of different people. I'm also the representative for an NGO that's with the United Nations. So I'm the non-governmental organization representative for chiropractic at the United Nations. So I will bring people from the United Nations. We actually did, because of that, because I got involved with that, I was able to do 25 mission trips in United Nations military bases, where we would stay in the military bases with the soldiers, and then we would go out and do our service during the day and come back and stay on the military bases. So it was kind of interesting. That was just interesting too. And I had 25. And so I've met a lot of generals and colonels and different commanders and majors. And yeah, it has been a pretty interesting. It's an interesting line of work. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
and it's a good thing that you're doing. So for these students, do they have to pay their way through, or your organization sponsors them?
Yeah, they have to pay. Typically, an 8-day trip. You come to the trip. Typically, it costs about somewhere around anywhere from $800 to $1,000. And with that, you're going to get all your food, the hotel, all the mission service. You're going to get all of that. It doesn't include your airfare, so it's about a $2,000 cost to go and serve. It's not, but you're going to get all your food, and you're going to get picked up at the airport. We got a 3-hour drive. I got a bus, and we're going to go serve. I got a program called Love Notes for Haiti for people who are not chiropractors. I got different programs. This one, Love Notes for Haiti, people donate me musical instruments. I hire music teachers. We teach all orphan children, not just from our orphanage, but other orphanages and Catholic churches. And we teach them how to play musical instruments. At the end of the mission trip, I choreograph a show, and the kids play their instruments. And some of them are so talented right now, you couldn't imagine. It's like I'm doing a Broadway show. The talent is incredible.
But the great thing is that although they put that they have to make that payment, they get to learn from you.
Well, that's the thing. They get to learn and they get to experience. And what happens is when you do this kind of service, it doesn't matter what organization you go with. When you do a service like this in a country like Haiti, it's a life-changing experience. Not only is it a wonderful experience for the people that are down there because we're providing jobs. I have translators, I have bus drivers, I sent my own bus. I bought a bus in the Bronx and sent it down there. I got vehicles, so we provide a lot of jobs every time we go, and I go quite frequently, like 5 times a year, even more some years. So we provide a lot of jobs, and now with 4 midwives, we administrate our orphanage. So I've been able to provide a lot of jobs. And when you speak to a Haitian person, the only thing they really want in life is a job. They just want a job. And every Haitian person just wants a job. Their dream, the Haitian dream, is to have a job.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know Haiti is one of the poorest countries in this.
There's no jobs there. That's the poor part,
And that's why it's even better what you're doing to support that country. So, Doctor, if someone is watching or listening and they're like, I love what you're doing, I want to get involved, can they sponsor themselves and come with you, or it has to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they can. They go to the name of our organization is Mission Life International, because our mission is about life and we're international. So missionlifeinternational.com, and you're on our website. My phone number's on there. My email is on there. So missionlifeinternational.com. You go there, you can reach me. If you're interested in going, if anybody's interested in going, they can reach out and speak to me directly. I can give them all the different, ideas. We normally go about 5 times a year. Currently, we're going 4 or 5 times a year. So there's always an opportunity.
And obviously, I'll definitely put that up on the website and on the channel so people can see that. So and they obviously they will be able to donate on that site, right? If someone would just want to give a donation.
Yes, on Mission Life International, there's several things you can donate. You can donate to the orphanage, or you can donate to the birthing center. And for example, for the birthing center, it costs us $75 for each woman that comes into our facility from the day one. So if she becomes pregnant on the 3rd trimester, our first trimester, say in 2 months, she finds out she's pregnant, or 3 months, she can start coming to our facility and then have her baby there. But with all the supplies and everything that we provide, it's about $75 for each child that's born. And this year, our orphanage adopted 3 new children. We adopted a 7-year-old baby, a 9-year-old girl, and a 7-year-old girl, and a brand new baby boy that was born at the birthing center. The mom couldn't take care of her. She already had a lot of children, and she didn't want to take care of her. So we have. And the children are orphans, but it's a family home. We have between 30 and 40 children at any given time, and we have everything. It's like it's a home, and with their brothers and sisters. We never give them up for adoption. Sometimes we take care of people. For example, some Sometimes the parents move to the Dominican Republic and the children are staying with the grandparents. Maybe the grandparents passed or something like that. And we take children in, and sometimes their parents are still alive. And one time we took in 3 girls because the dad came to our orphanage crying because his wife passed away and she wanted to, he didn't have any money to take care of the kids. They were living really tough. So we took the 3 girls in, and about a year later, the economics changed for him. He was able to come back and take his girls. And now they're still friends with us because we have a big place there where we do music, the birthing center. So we have a big gazebo that can fit 100 people. So people from the community come into our facility and just, meet each other. And, it's kind of interesting.
Fantastic, doctor. And obviously you're impacting lives, and you're making lives better for the people who are not that fortunate. So are you planning on expanding into any other territories?
No, I'm not. What I've tried to do is, I shouldn't say no. Me personally, no. But what I'm trying to do is show people, give them a formula so that they can do it in other places. So I wrote 2 books. One called The 5-Day Missionary, and the other one called Mission Chiropractic. That book is for chiropractors, but lay people too. But the 5-Day Missionary is for people. It's a spiritual book, so it's a Christian book.
Where can we get that? On your website?
On Amazon, yeah, or the website. Okay. And so what I want to do is, for example, one of the people that have come on the trip and then became very involved in our organization, funding the birthing center and on the board of trustees of our organization, Kerith Powell, he's from Jamaica originally. So he's starting we're doing a mission trip in Jamaica. And then, so hopefully, and there's another Jamaican fellow working with him too. And so hopefully that process will start and we'll have something similar in Jamaica. Although I'll go once in a while, probably I'll keep staying in Haiti, but also working with some people from Spain, and they want to do some mission work in Africa. So I'm trying to show people, give people a formula to help them get started because, I have the experience. So I can tell people how you do it. Like we have a nonprofit. We have a nonprofit in the United States. We have a nonprofit in the Dominican Republic. We have a nonprofit in Haiti, allowing us to do this kind of work legally. So there's legal things that you have to do. There's how you make contacts with people. So my book kind of explains how to do it. But I'm trying to teach people myself. When they come on my mission trip, I want them to do a mission trip somewhere else. I'm not going to be able to go, but they'll be able to go and start doing same type of work I'm doing in Haiti. They'll be able to do in some country in Africa or some other Caribbean country or something like that.
And this is great, doctor. I mean, I can't believe we were running down. We could go on like for the entire day talking about, and obviously you're passionate about what you're doing. But I want you to tell us what's your greatest accomplishment?
Well, I would just have to say my greatest accomplishment is being married 33 years and having 3 wonderful kids and still loving my wife like the day we met. Because I see a lot of people struggle with that. So that has got to be my greatest accomplishment.
Nice. Yeah. And that's a good answer. Really good answer. And doctor, again, thank you so much for joining us today. Fantastic conversation. I know a lot of people listening and about you talking about the mission trips and what you're doing will definitely reach out and try to help, because this is a great cause. And we'll definitely encourage anyone listening to just go to the website and make a donation, and any way that you can contribute, because this is towards a great cause.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad that I was on your show, and I love your excitement and enthusiasm. And so your show is great because you're so excited and enthusiastic. And I think that's the thing with everything, right? To be successful in any business, just be passionate about it.
No, definitely.
Passionate about it, it's going to be working great.
No, definitely. And I realize life is all about, a giving and helping others. And you're setting the standard there. And we really love what you and Dr. Powell and other members are doing to help the world.
Okay, great. Well,
All right, sir.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you, sir. It's been great.
Okay.
And talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye.